So I've had to build that wall next to the shed there with the panels already on, because obviously the shed would be in the way of me putting the panels on. So I've just used that wall as my start position so that I can get those panels on, and then from there I can continue with the rest of the frame. So I thought I'd show you really quickly how I'm setting up the wall. From the ceiling to the floor is going to be a 2.4 metre height. So the first thing I need to do to get that height is the beams that I'm working with are themselves 2.4 metres. So I need to cut off that little chunk from the end, which equals the same width as the two pieces, if you like, of the top and the bottom. You need to remove the length that these two pieces equal so that your wall remains the height of 2.4 metres. But I'm also not going to waste these little bits, because these little pieces act as chocking pieces for me so that I can throw up the frame really quickly. And I'll just show you how I'm doing that. And you can see there that I'm putting them in at a 60 centimetre spacing to allow for where each beam needs to be attached. Then what I do is just tack them into place with 2 nails at 45 degrees, then set the level of the beam, put the top beam on, which holds everything in level. And then what I do is make sure the wall is strutted and supported in both directions so that it maintains that level sideways. That then gives me the level in this direction as well as in this direction. I can then go in and put in the noggin pieces, which just completes the structural integrity of the wall. With the top beam, I've just got 2 vertical nails that go down into them. And whilst they'll stay in there, they're not just the final nailing that I'm going to be doing. And once I've got these temporary support beams in place and I'm happy that the wall is straight and true, I'll then go back to those top beams. I'll add in nails at a 45-degree angle to increase that vertical strength. The biggest reason you want to do that is because over time, and in particular if you're in a high wind area, if you've only got nails that are going through that way, the wind and weather can sort of lift your roof over time, and you'll either have a really, really squeaky sort of section in your roof, or in extreme weather conditions, that whole thing could actually pull directly out of the beam. So having them set on a 45-degree angle from both sides increases that strength for the roof, and I'll do that same sort of thing at floor level as well. So one of the ways of working out these cross members really quickly is rather than sort of using a tape measure to measure between the two beams, if you've got a nice square cut in the piece of wood you're working with, you can square it off on that edge. Don't put it in this way because it doesn't give you enough surface area. But if you put it in that way around, you can square it off against that surface edge and then come in with a screwdriver or something that's got a nice sharp edge and score it along the beam there like that. When you then go to cut that, you want to cut on this side of the score, and then that will give you a really nice snug fit in between those two beams. And all you've got to do is tap it into place, so then it's just a matter of tacking it on one side, making sure your level's correct, and tacking it on the other side. So the other thing you can see here that I've stepped one up, one down, one up, one down, that's purely to allow for the nail gun to go into the wood. Gives me access on that side, then access on that side, and then I can just repeat that as I come along. Just another really quick tip for you if you're trying to work out the centre of a piece of timber or centre of really anything. As long as it's the same sort of weight consistently across the beam, you can balance it on something like that there. Now normally I would just balance this out on the end of my finger and that would be enough. So this is leaning a little bit towards this side, so I'm going to say that the centre line is just there, and that's where I'm going to cut it. So that's my mark, just where my thumb is. So I'm trying to do this one-handed, but to give you an idea. Now I don't need to be hyper accurate because I'm setting up little off-cut pieces, but to just give you an idea, that's how much it's ended up being close to accurate. So you can see that's pretty close. But now that I'm happy that everything's plumb, I'm going to go across and put in all those skew nails across the top. And the final thing I'll do is put some metal strapping in a big X across the frame to actually take any sideways torque in it. So when I poured the concrete, I made up these little anchor bolt pieces that sort of went into pre-drilled holes into the metal, and they're set on an angle so they bite into the concrete. But I had to put a nut on them so that they didn't go too far down deep into the concrete. And now I need to get all those nuts off. So I thought I'd show you a really quick tip. This works in both ways for getting them on as well as off. I've got a Velcro back sanding disc that has this little foam padding to it. If you just come in on the side of the nut, you can lift them off really quickly like that. That also works in reverse. If you're ever in a situation where you need to put things on quickly, just put the drill in reverse, down you go. So that's pretty much all the framing done now. I'll go around now and put in all my support strapping and make sure that everything's right so I can take out the temporary braces, and then I'll be ready for putting the panels on the outside of the walls. Anyway, that's the update for this time, guys. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.